Welcome back, fam. You don't know how hard I have worked to get this particular video to you. Can we all say butter, baby? Butter, baby? Yes, yes. We are making whole food, plant-based, oil-free, vinegar-free butter, baby. That's right. So, we're going to make two different kinds. We're going to make an avocado butter and we're going to make a honey butter. That's right, sweet and savory. That's me. Welcome back. Let's get started. Okay, so first let me tell you, I prayed about this recipe. I was missing butter. The sweet and savory me needed butter. So I prayed about it. God gave me a recipe. So let's do it. I should also tell you that the avocado, so I'm starting with 3/4 cup of washed cashews in both of the blenders. The avocado butter I'm making with cashews this time for the first time. I've made it every other time with sunflower seeds, but I'm wondering if I'll get the same. We're just going to try it with cashews this time and see what happens. So I'm doing 3/4 cup of cashews in both, and I'm going to put 3/4 cup of almond milk, but you can use any plant-based milk you want in both to get us started. So let's see what I do. So 3/4 of a cup of milk. I should say that I have tried these recipes out on my coworkers, and they love it. One of them asked me to sell it, and she would buy it. Okay. I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. They're pretty much going to be the same, except, well, you'll see as I go along. Salt, work with me. Okay. So a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in both, and a teaspoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Shout out to my church family. I told a family that had lemon trees or has a family with lemon trees that I love and use fresh lemons, and they gave me some fresh lemons, and so we're using fresh squeezed lemon juice. Smells and tastes so delicious. 1 teaspoon apiece. Now, for the avocado butter, I'm just gonna add half a cut avocado. That's it. And for the honey butter, I'm going to add 3/4 of a tablespoon of nutritional yeast and a tablespoon of honey. Honey, baby. Okay, so let's talk. What are we talking about today? We are talking about meat. I know, it's a plant-based channel, and we are going to talk about meat. We're going to explain why we don't eat meat. Well, one of the reasons why. So there's this video, I'm going to try to link it. It's called a dialogue. It's called a dialogue between Dr. Walter Veith and T. Colin Campbell. T. Colin Campbell is the guy who wrote China Studies. Him and his son wrote China Studies. And Dr. Walter Veith is another PhD from South Africa. Interestingly enough, they did similar research in different parts of the world. Obviously, T. Colin Campbell used China. He lived and worked in America, but his research for the China Studies was in China. He collaborated with Oxford and Cornell. He was actually working for Cornell at the time. But anyway, and T. Colin Campbell started out as he was raised a rancher. So for him, his thought was that animal protein was the most complete, perfect protein, and his thesis that he was going to prove, he thought, was that after he did the research, he actually became plant-based. And he also coined the phrase plant-based and later added whole food plant-based. Now, the reason he did that was because he had done all of this research about animal protein versus plant protein and found that plant protein was superior. So he's going into this conference to tell him about his research, and he didn't want to use the word vegan because he didn't want to use the word vegetarian, rather, because vegetarians still use cheeses and butters and milks and different animal proteins, although they don't actually eat the animal, right? I used to be lacto-ovo vegetarian, so I'm telling you what I know for a fact. So he was trying to think of a word, but he didn't want to use the word vegan, and so he said plant-based because he was really just trying to stress that it was a plant protein. Anyway, so in the conversation between Dr. Walter Veith and Dr. T. Colin Campbell, they were talking about different things that animal proteins do to the body. So T. Colin Campbell was saying that they found that they could actually turn cancer on and off by giving the subject of the research animal protein and then switching them to plant protein. So he was like, it was a light switch. They could literally flip it on and off. And he said that he actually did that very research project, giving them animal protein for 3 weeks and then switching to plant protein for 3 weeks and back to animal protein and back to plant protein. And he realized that they could watch the cancer cells grow in the first 3 weeks when they were giving them animal protein, and then the cells, the tumors actually started to decrease the next 3 weeks as they only used plant protein. So anyway, so Walter Veith found very similar research to be true in the portion of the world that he was working. Like I said, he's in South Africa, and T. Colin Campbell has done research all over. Anyway, but Walter Veith took it a step further, and he said, it's not just cancer. He said, so your body, neutral is 7, right? And your body starts to digest, pepsin kicks in to do the digestion at about 6.5. When you're eating a plant protein, your body has to get down to about a 4.5 to 4, no lower than 4, to be able to digest it. It's globular. He says it just, the pepsin bites it, makes it into polypeptide chains and can assimilate it into the body. Boom, boom, boom. Just simple. But when it comes to animal protein, the body has to first unwind the animal protein, because most of the time when people eat meat, they're eating a muscle. So it first has to unwind it. It has to get the body acid down to 3 or below. And then it can start to chop and bite and actually turn it into the polypeptides to be able to use for amino acids for protein. Okay. But Dr. Veith said, and actually T. Colin Campbell also said it, and I think he said it in Forks Over Knives, but in this conversation, Dr. Weiss said it, that if you eat one egg, the body has to get the acid down to 1.5. Yeah, stop. Think about that for a second. 1.5. Now, we all know that cancer loves an acidic environment. Hence the reason why you can go into any store and find alkaline water. Why? Because alkaline water is supposed to help your body become alkaline, which is a healthier state, and disease can't grow and doesn't like an alkaline environment. So you want this alkaline environment. But 1.5 is definitely the opposite of alkaline. Dr. Weiss went on to say that when your body gets down to 1.5, it then, trying to get homeostasis, draws calcium from your bones. Draws calcium from your bones. And now your body is suffering from calcium depletion, from osteoporosis, from arthritis, from inflammation, from gout, among other things, because your body is trying to compensate for the acidic environment that it's fighting with because of one egg. So guess what happens when you eat 2 eggs? Anyway, moving forward. So, yeah, that's one of the big reasons why we are not eating meat. Okay, so I'm going to blend this and then I'll be back to show you what happens. I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch to the honey butter also. Okay, be right back. Okay, so what I'm about to do is totally optional. If you are not like, if body is not a big deal for you in your butter, then you don't have to do this. And if you don't do this, then you also don't need to add the cornstarch. But look at this avocado butter. You see the body in that? You see how creamy it is? So I'm not adding it to this one because avocado gives it the body you want. But without the avocado, it can be more runny, and I want it to have body. Body, baby. We want our butter to have body, baby. So I am heating it, and I'm really just stirring it so that the cornstarch will thicken it, and I'll show you how it comes out and how creamy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to go pull out some bread just so that you can get the full effect of my butter, baby. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Anyway, Walter Weiss and T. Colin Campbell had a very interesting conversation. T. Colin Campbell has worked with Dr. Estelstein. His son became, T. Colin Campbell's son became a doctor, and also helped with his research, an MD. Estelstein's son became a firefighter and also plant-based and helped with the research. It's very interesting because they grew up. They didn't know each other when they were growing up, but they grew up on the East Coast, not very far from each other, around the same age. I'm talking about T. Colin Campbell and Dr. Estelstein. Dr. Weiss is in South Africa. But anyway, and so what happened was T. Colin Campbell was doing his research with subjects in a lab, and Dr. Estelstein was doing research with subjects, humans, in clinical trials. And so Estelstein said, "Hey, Colin Campbell, come on over here. Let's work together." So they did some stuff together, and actually ended up working together quite a bit. So Forks Over Knives gives you a good story about them working together. They have it on video. They also have it on, it's a book. They have books, but they have it in video form for those who have more time to video than they do to read. So let's see if you can see this yet. Can you see this yet? You see how creamy that is? Can you see how creamy that is? Can you see me pour this in here? Can you see the body? See that? Did you see that? Do you see how that looks like butter? Tastes like butter. Melts like butter. I put this on, well, it doesn't really melt like butter. Let me not lie. I put this over some potatoes and added some fresh basil leaves with it. Oh, yes. The sweet, the savory. Yes, it was hitting all the points. Hitting all the points. But do you see that? See the butter, baby? Let me get some bread. Okay. Get this out of the way so you can see this. So let's use the avocado butter and put it on bread. See how it spreads so nice? It spreads so nice. Think avocado toast, but creamier. Yeah. I think I will always make it with cashews now. I was making it with the sunflower seeds for a little variety, but the smooth creaminess of these cashews, I think they won it for me. Now let's do this one. Look at that. Look at the butter, baby. Now I have to make fresh bread because this is the last of this loaf. So, new butter, new bread. Make a mess and enjoy it. See you next time.